Let's start with SQC1. SQC1, quality control for firm that performs audit and review of historical financial information and other assurance engagement and related service engagement. There are SQC means standards on quality control in the firm. Quality control, QC means quality control. S means standards on quality control. So there is a system of quality control in the audit firm. There should be a system in the audit firm. So in total, we have 46 standards. It includes standards on quality control, standards on auditing, standards on review engagement, standards on assurance engagement, standards on related services. In case of SQC1, it covers 1 to 100. 1 to 100 covers in SQC1. Now we have only one standard, that is SQC1. In standards on auditing, we have from 101 to 1000. 101 to 1000 we have in syllabus. Total 38 standard we have in syllabus. Also, in case of standards on review engagement, it starts from 2000 to 2999. It has two standards, 2400 and 2410. Also, standards on assurance engagement, it starts from 3000 to 3999. So it contains three standards, which are 3400, 3402, 3420. So three standards we have in standards on assurance engagement. In case of standards on related services, we have two standards, 4400 and 4410. Okay, for all standards or all engagement, the audit firm should follow standards on quality control. Okay, in case of standards on quality control, we have SQC1. The firm should follow all the engagement. For all engagement, the CA firm should follow standards on quality control. Okay, what is the objective of SQC1 and basics? The SQC1 mandates every audit and assurance firm should maintain a system of quality control to ensure compliance with the PLR, that is professional, legal, and regulatory standards. Next one is appropriateness of report issued by the firm or its partner. In case of all the engagement, we have to perform the audit and perform the audit or engagement with the compliance with the professional and legal regulatory standards. Also, will issue a report at the end of the engagement. Okay, so the objective of SQC1 is to prescribe and appropriateness of report to be issued. Also, the audit firm should comply with the professional, regulatory, and professional, legal, and regulatory standard, that is PLR standards. Okay, it applies to all the firms, regardless of size or structure. Okay, in case of sole proprietorship or a partnership or any entity of professional accountant, it includes any entity that controls or is controlled by such entity should follow SQC1. Okay, the firm means sole practitioner, partnership firm, or any entity. It can be a LLP or a firm. In case of management consultancy company, it can be a company, but it cannot do audit. Okay. What do you mean by engagement partner? Engagement partner means a full-time chartered accountant in a firm who is responsible for the engagement and its performance. Performing the engagement is responsible for the engagement and also performance of the engagement. And for the auditor's report that is to be issued on behalf of the firm. The firm is engaged to audit, then the firm should issue the audit report. So the engagement partner is the responsible person for conducting the engagement. The engagement partner means the engagement can be of audit engagement, review engagement, assurance engagement, or other related service engagements. Okay, next is engagement team. Engagement team, all personnel performing that engagement. The engagement team can be a engagement partner, staff. Staff includes article assistants, senior and junior assistants, paid assistants, also some specialists contracted by the firm. In case of some critical valuation of financial instruments or actuarial calculation, we will engage the expert in the audit. So the expert also included in the engagement team. But the external expert engaged by the client, that is management expert. Management experts are not included in the engagement team. Okay. Next is key elements of quality control system. The firm must establish policies, procedures for the following six component. Okay, ICI, the SQC1 prescribes six elements to establish policies and procedures. First one is leadership responsibilities. We'll see one by one. So, in case of leadership responsibility, for the quality within the firm, the SQC1 for SQC1 gives the quality control within the firm and to create policies procedure for the firm as a whole. Okay, wow. In case of SA 220, it prescribes the quality control for audit engagement only. Okay, we have discussed SA 210. SA 210 means only for audit engagement. In case of SQC1, it applies to all engagement. The firm should follow. Engage in the following. Okay, so SQC1 is applicable at a firm level. In case of SA 220 is applicable at audit level. Okay, first one is the key elements. First one is leadership responsibilities for quality within the firm. Okay, SQC1 requires the firm to create policies and procedures to foster a culture where quality is essential for the engagement. The quality is essential for the engagements. Okay, tone at the top. Okay, what do you mean by that? The who will what do you mean by leadership? Who will be the leader? The firm's leadership, that is CEO or a managing partner, must take ultimate responsibility for quality control system. How he will uh, take responsibility and establish the policies and procedure. Their actions and value should be a certain example for the rest of the firm. Okay, he will be independent from the firm and he maintains the competencies and capabilities for conducting the engagement and also maintaining the knowledge and attaining the knowledge. It will make the firm or its personnel to take the person as a leader as an example to conduct the engagement. So, individual responsible for quality control should have adequate experience. So, the leadership, the CEO or a managing partner should have adequate experience, ability, and authority. Okay, who is responsible for implementing the policies and procedures? CEO or a managing partner. Next one is how he will implement policies and procedure. He will be an example for others in the organization. Okay, what individual should have adequate, what qualities he should have? Adequate experience, ability, and authority he should have. Okay, the responsible person should have adequate experience, ability, and authority. The following are the key consideration should be taken into account. This can be asked as a 5 mark question. Okay, the key consideration should be taken into account while upholding the quality of the firm. Okay, to uphold the quality. Okay, first one is the firm assigns its management responsibility so that the commercial consideration do not override the quality of work performed. Okay, what do you mean by commercial consideration? Money minded. Okay, the engagement partner or the firm's personnel are money minded, then the quality of the work will be compromised by the audit firm, and then work will of the quality of work performed. Okay, so the firm assigns its management responsibility. The firm assigns its management responsibility so that the commercial consideration do not override the quality of the work performed. Okay, the money is the motive of the leadership or a partner managing director should not be the commercial consideration only. Okay, it should the work should be in a quality. Okay, next one is the firm's policies and procedure addressing the performance evaluation, compensation, and promotion, including incentive system with regards to its personnel, are designed to demonstrate the firm's overriding commitment to quality. So, the audit firm should compensate its employees. Okay, the leadership responsibilities are to compensate the employees. How he will compensate? Evaluate the performance of the employee, and based on the evaluation and performance, he will provide a compensation, and there is a promotions and incentives. The firm should provide an incentive to the personnel so that the policies procedures are the firm's overriding commitment to quality. To reduce the commitment to quality, to uphold the quality, overriding commitment. So we will be discussing upholding the quality of the firm. To uphold the quality, commercial consideration should not override. Also, we should compensate our employees. We have to evaluate the performance of the employees so that the overriding commitment to quality, they will be commitment to quality. Then will be if we compensate them for a low cost, so we'll earning more income. But we are not providing compensation or a promotion, then they will not work for work. They will not work towards quality. They will work lazy. Okay. Next one is the firm devotes sufficient resources for the development, documentation, and support of its quality control policies and procedures. Okay. Firm devotes resources. There should be a proper resources. What are the resources? Experts are available and the engagement team is available. Experienced persons are available. Then the firm should have a sufficient resources. What do you mean by resources? Resources are experts or any other any other a software or a computer system to be used in the audit or a other engagement. Okay, first one is key consideration taken into account. Okay, இதை லைட்டா தமிழ் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றேன். என்னன்னா வாட் ஆர் த கீ கன்சிடரேஷன் ஆஃப் த ஆடிட்டர் வந்து எடுக்கணும். என்னன்னா மணி மைண்டடா இருக்கக்கூடாது. ஓகேவா, குவாலிட்டியான ஒர்க் வந்து வேணும்னா இப்போ மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி வந்து பாலிசிஸ் ப்ரொசீஜர்ஸ் போடுறப்போ கமர்ஷியல் கன்சிடரேஷனை வந்து குவாலிட்டி ஆஃப் ஒர்க்கை வந்து ஓவர் ரைட் பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஓகே, அப்புறம் வந்து பாலிசிஸ் ப்ரொசீஜர்ஸ் வந்து அட்ரஸ் பண்ணணும். எதுனா பர்ஃபார்மன்ஸ் எவாலுவேஷன், காம்பன்சேஷன் அண்ட் ப்ரொமோஷன். ஓகே, வித் ரிகார்ட்ஸ் டு இட்ஸ் பர்சனல்ஸ் ஆர் டிசைன்டு டு demonstrate the firm's overriding commitment to. So when we provide a promotion or a compensation, then the employees or a personnel in the organization, the firm will work with a commitment to quality. Okay, the firm should devote sufficient resources for the development and documentation and the support of its quality control policies and procedures. Okay, next one is there is an example in the ICI material. ABC and Associate. This is a new audit firm, XYZ Limited, under regulatory inquiry. This is the short form of the question. So there is a 4 or 5 lines in the ICA material. I have summarized the question and also answer. Okay, we'll discuss ABC Associate, XY there is a company XY is limited. The old auditor are resigned from the engagement. Okay, resigned from the engagement. The promoter is also a close friend of the managing partner, Mr. A. Mr. A is a close friend of promoter. Okay, Mr. A is strongly recommending the appointment. XY is offering 25% higher fee. Okay, so by reading this question, there is a familiarity thread. Also, there is an inquiry by the regulatory. So there is a, in case of firm, the poor tone at the audit, higher fees. So Mr. A is strongly recommending the appointment. So as Mr. A is a personal relationship, also commercial benefit, that is higher audit fee. Commercial consideration we have studied. Commercial consideration should not override the quality of the firm or work performed. Here, compromising the quality for personal bias or a financial gain, which violates the SQC1 principles, independent and risk-based client acceptance. Okay, once again, I will discuss what is leadership responsibility for quality within the firm. The firm should create a policy procedure to uphold the quality of the firm. Okay, turn at the top. So what do you mean by leadership responsibility? The leader, who is the leader? Leader is a CEO or a managing partner, must take ultimate responsibility for quality control system in the firm. Next one is their actions and values should set the example for the rest of the firm or personnel in the organization. Okay, the individual responsible for quality should have adequate experience. That the leader should have adequate experience, ability, and authority. Okay, what are the key considerations to uphold the quality of the firm? So we have to, the firm should management responsibility, so that assigns its management responsibility, so that commercial consideration do not override the quality of the work performed. Second one is the policies procedures address performance evaluation, compensation, and promotion, including incentive system with regards to its personnel, are designed to demonstrate the firm's overriding commitment to quality, and the firm devotes sufficient resources for development and documentation and the supports of its quality control policies. Okay, the firm should have a sufficient resources for development, documentation, and supports of its quality control policies and the procedures. The firm should have a sufficient resources. Okay, we have seen some examples. Next one is we have completed leadership responsibilities. Next one is ethical requirement. Okay, for ethical requirement, the firm should establish policies and procedures to provide its reasonable assurance that the firm and its personnel comply with ethical requirements contained in Code of Ethics issued by the ICI. Okay, what are the Code of Ethics issued by the ICI? The fundamental principles of ethics: integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, professional competence and due care, and professional behavior. Okay, so the principle should be reinforced through leadership actions, awareness and training programs, monitoring, and a process of dealing with non-compliances. So the ethical requirement should be reinforced leadership actions, awarenesses, and a training program for the employees, and monitoring of compliances, process of dealing with non-compliances. Okay, the firm must ensure for all assurance engagement, the policies must be communicate independent requirement to its personnel. Okay, the firm should we have discussed these concepts in professional ethics chapter in detailed manner. We have just covered this. Okay, in case of detailed answer is required, then we have to write from the professional ethics chapter, professional ethics and liabilities of auditor. So ensure independent in all assurance engagement. For non-assurance engagement, the firm need not to follow independence. Okay, wow. The firm should ensure in case of independence in case of assurance engagement. So the firm should communicate independent requirement to its personnel. The firm should communicate all the personnel about the independent requirement. The firm should be independent from the client or a company. Okay, independent from the entity the audit is undertaken. Okay, identify and address the circumstances or a relationship that create threats to independent. What do you mean by threats? Self-review threat, self-interest threat, advocacy threat, familiarity threat, and intimidation threat. We have studied what are the types of threats in professional ethics chapter. We have only identify the threats to the independent. So firm should be independent. So we have threats to independent. The threats are identified and addressed the threats. So after identifying the threats, the firm should take action to reduce or to eliminate the threat by applying safeguards. By applying safeguards, the firm is not independent or not able to eliminate the threat, then the firm can withdraw from the engagement. So what we have the firm should do first, it has to communicate the independent requirement. There is a ethical requirement in the ICI. So we have to follow independent. We have we should be independent from the client. So the leader should communicate with the engagement team. Okay, the engagement team or a personnel in the firm should be independent from the entity. Okay, what do you mean by independent from the entity? In case of familiarity threat, the personnel in the organization and the close family member working in the organization are a finance department. So there is a threat that the personnel in the engagement team will not communicate or identify fraud or any transaction or event identified by the engagement team member when there is a close member in the accounting team. Okay, identify and address the threat. First, we have to communicate. We have to follow. This is an assurance engagement. We have to follow independent. Okay, and also in case any threats is identified, any threats to independent is identified, should be communicate to the leader or a managing partner. So the leader will take action based on the policies procedures of the firm. So take action to reduce or eliminate the threat by applying safeguards. Safeguards means actions that are taken by the firm to safeguards are actions taken by the firm. Okay. Or if unable to eliminate the threat, then the firm should withdraw from the engagement. Okay. Ensure the partner provide information about threats promptly. The firm should ensure the policies or procedures. Policies or procedures should be ensure that the personnel or engagement partner provide the information about threats promptly. Okay. At least annually, the firm should obtain a written representation from the personnel required to be independent, confirming compliance with the firm's independent policies and procedure. To comply with independent policies and procedure, the firm should obtain a written confirmation from the engagement team or a personnel in the organization. It should get the written confirmation annually. At least annually, it should get. Okay, it can be asked in multiple choice question. Okay, it can be asked in MCQ question. Okay, next moving to for audit of listed entities, the engagement partner must be rotated after 7 years with a mandatory peer review process for such firm to ensure quality. Okay, wow. In case of more than 7 years, that the familiarity thread will be created. So the engagement partner should be rotated after 7 years. Okay. In case of Companies Act, Section 139, Subsection 2, the firm of CA, firm of chartered accountant of listed companies can be appointed for a 2 terms of 5 consecutive periods. That is total 10-year period. The engagement partner is appointed for more than 7 years is allowed as per is more engagement partner appointed for more than 7 years allowed as per Companies Act? No. The engagement partner should be rotated after 7 years. In case of 10-year audit, the one engagement partner can continue for 7 years. Remaining 3 years period, the other partner should be rotated. Okay. The same partner cannot continue for 10 years. Only he can be a engagement partner for a 7-year period. Okay, let's see the ethical requirement. The firm should establish policies and procedures designed to demonstrate with reasonable assurance that the firm should and its comply with ethical requirement contained in the Code of Ethics issued by the ICI. There is a fundamental principles of ethics. Also, we have independent requirement. Okay, what is the fundamental principles of ethics? Code of ethics: integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, professional competence and duty, and professional behavior. Okay, in case of independent, the policies are created for communication of independent requirement. Also, the firm should identify and address the threats to independent. Okay, take actions to reduce the threats identified and eliminate the threat by applying safeguards. What are the safeguards? Safeguards means the actions taken by the firm to eliminate the threat. In case the firm is unable to eliminate the threat, the firm should withdraw from the engagement. Ensure the partners provide engagement partner provide about threats promptly. Okay, at least annually, the firm should obtain a written confirmation from the personnels. Okay, confirming that the independent to comply with policies and procedures of the firm. In case of listed entities, the engagement partner should be rotated after 7 years. The Companies Act allows the firm to be a partner chartered accountant for 10 years, but the firm should rotate after 7 years. Engagement partner should be rotated after 7 years. We have completed two elements. First one is leadership responsibility. Second one is ethical requirement. We'll see acceptance and continuance of client relationship. In case of new audit, we'll accept the engagement. In case of recurring audit, we'll continue the engagement. Okay. They have acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagements. Okay, the firms before accepting the engagement should acquire vital information about the client, that is KYC now, such as information help the firm to decide about. Okay, vital information should be obtained from the client, that is as per KYC now, the firm should obtain some information about the firm. Also, it also include the firm should evaluate integrity of the firm. The firm should evaluate integrity of the firm and not integrity of the firm, integrity of the client and its promoters, key managerial persons. Okay, integrity of the client and its promoters, key managerial persons, also the firm's competence to. This one is related to client. The firm should check before accepting the engagement. It should check the integrity of the client. Next one is competencies to perform the engagement. Whether the engagement team or a engagement the person in the personals in the firm has a capabilities, resources, and a time. Okay, there is a competencies to perform that engagement. Okay, also the firm should comply with ethical requirement. Okay, that is ICE. I for integrity, C for competencies, E for ethical requirement. Okay, there are 3 points. We have 3 points. Before accepting the engagement, we have to evaluate integrity of the client. Also, whether the firm has a competent to perform the engagement. Also, compliance with the ethical requirements. The above assessment applies to new engagement. The above assessment is applicable to new engagement, ongoing client relationship, and also additional work with the existing client. Okay, there are three circumstances we will perform the engagement. First one is new engagement or ongoing engagement or additional work with the existing work. We are also performing the audit engagement. Also, we are engaged to perform the review engagement. Okay, we have we are already performing the audit engagement. In case of additional work with the existing work, if concerns arises but the firm still proceeds, the resolution of those concerns must be documented. Okay, this is not a relevant point. Also, we'll remember this 3 point. One is integrity of the client. Second one is firm's competencies. Competencies include capabilities, resources, and time. Okay, and compliance with ethical requirement. Okay. Okay. This point we will discuss in detail. That is matter that the firm considers with regards to integrity. To evaluate the integrity, the firm should evaluate reputation of principal owner, management, third parties, and TCWC. Okay. The nature of the client's operation and business practices. Okay. Nature of business operations and also business practices. The attitude towards accounting standards and internal control will will evaluate the attitude towards accounting standard and also internal control in the organization. Okay, whether the client seeks to keep a fees as low as possible. Okay, in case of fees is low, the firm will compromise the quality of the work performed. So, in case of low fees, the integrity of the client should be evaluated. Okay, in case of limitation on scope, if the management imposes any limitation on scope, any limitation on scope, will not accept the such engagement. Okay, this will lead to disclaimer of opinion. So, will not accept the engagement. In case of limitation, will not conduct the proper audit. So, we should not accept the engagement. Limitation, scope limitation will lead to disclaimer of opinion. Possible involvement in money laundering and criminal activities. The client is involved in money laundering or criminal activities, then the integrity of the client should be evaluated. Okay. Reasons for appointing or replacing the auditor. Whether why the firm is not appointed the existing auditor. Why the previous auditor is resigned. The reason for the same should be obtained from the client. Also, it can be obtained from the previous auditor. Okay. Let's discuss. In case of integrity, this can be asked as a 4-mark question or a 5-mark question. To evaluate the integrity, the firm should evaluate reputation, nature of business activities, and business practices and operations. Also, attitude towards accounting standard and internal control. Whether the fee is maintained as low as possible and check பண்ணணும். Then also scope limitation. If there is a scope limitation, the integrity can be checked. Also, possible involvement in the money laundering or criminal activities. Reason for appointing or replacing the firm should be evaluated. Okay. Next point is firm's competence to perform the engagement. Okay. To evaluate the firm's competencies, we have with regards to method have to be taken into account with regards to consideration, capabilities, competencies, and time and resources. Okay, capabilities, competencies, time and resources to undertake an engagement. Okay, we have competencies, capabilities related to the firm personnel have a knowledge of relevant industry and subject matter. Also, the firm should have experience with the relevant regulatory and reporting requirement. The ability to gain necessary skill and knowledge effectively. Okay, this is related to knowledge and experience related to competencies and capabilities. In case of resources, we have a sufficient personnel with necessary capabilities and competencies. This requires the resources required, capabilities, competencies also. Okay, wow. The personnel also should have a capabilities and competencies. Also, we have whether expert is needed in case of fair value measurement or actuarial valuation. In case of a financial instrument, we have to use expert to evaluate the management valuation. So, if needed, individual meeting the criteria and eligibility requirement to perform the engagement quality control review are available. Engagement quality control reviewer. The EQCR is available. That is, there are 3 resources. One is sufficient personnel. Next one is expert. Also, engagement quality control reviewer. Next one is the whether the engagement team is able to complete the audit within the reporting deadline. Within the time குள்ள நம்ம வந்து engagement முடிக்க முடியுதான்னு செக் பண்ணணும். Okay, these are all. There are 2 concepts: integrity and competencies. Competencies include capabilities, time, and resources should be evaluated. Okay, the firm obtains information that would have caused it decline and engagement. If that information had been obtainable earlier, the policies and procedures on continuance of the engagement and client relationship should be included the consideration of professional and legal responsibility, including whether the firm must report appropriate appointing party or regulatory authority, whether to withdraw from the engagement or a client relationship, whether to withdraw from the engagement or a client relationship. Next one is policies procedure for withdrawal from the engagement or a client relationship should include. First, we have to discuss with the client, management, and those charged with the governance to take appropriate actions. Okay, if withdrawal is decided, discuss with the reason with the client. Reason for the withdrawal to be discussed with the client. Consider professional, legal, and regulatory requirement for reporting the withdrawal. In case of withdrawal, auditor has to report as per Companies Act ADT form should be filed with the ROC. Okay, documenting key issues, consultations, and conclusion. The what are the reasons and conclusion, the issues? What are the issues the auditor has taken for withdrawal from the engagement should be documented by the auditor. Example, CAM is approached by a prospective client who has recently been searched by the Enforcement Directorate and the information. There is a search is happened by Income Tax Authority and the Enforcement Directorate, indicating possible involvement in illegal activities like money laundering and bogus capital gains. The clients offer multiple audit assignment in return for attractive fee. Okay, the integrity should be there is a money laundering and the bogus. So integrity of the client is to be evaluated by the firm. So key consideration under SQC 1, the firm must assess integrity of the client before accepting the any engagement. Involvement in suspicious or illegal activities is a red flag. So conclusion, due to serious concerns regarding the client's integrity, CAM should not accept such engagement. Okay, we have completed leadership responsibilities, ethical requirement, acceptance of client, continuance of client relationship, human resources. Next, we will see human resources. Under human resources, this is a very easy part. Under human resources, the firm should establish policies and procedures designed to provide its reasonable assurance. So we have studied in leadership responsibility, the firm should compensate, promote, and performance evaluation, and compensation should be done to the personnel. So the same point is applicable here. The reasonable assurance that the sufficient personnel with capabilities, competencies, and the commitment to ethical principles necessary to perform that engagement. Okay, the firm should have a sufficient personnel with the capabilities, commitment to ethical principles necessary to perform its engagement. So the firm should establish policies and procedures required that identify and role of the engagement partner are communicated to key members of the client's management and those charged with governance. The engagement partner has the appropriate capabilities, competencies, authority, and the time to perform the role. The engagement partner should have a appropriate capabilities, competencies, authority, and time to perform the role. Okay, the responsibility of the engagement partner are clearly defined and communicated to that partner. Okay, each engagement team should have to carry out its responsibility with the necessary competencies and skills. What are the competencies? Capabilities, skills should be have. Therefore, the firm should ensure suitable people are available. Okay, let's start with engagement performance. Okay, in case of engagement performance, the quality to perform the engagement, the audit firm should create policies and procedures to achieve the engagement performance. The quality should be consistently followed by the firm. Okay, so to achieve the quality in the engagement performance, the firm must brief the objective of engagement to the engagement team. The firm must brief the objective of engagement to the engagement team. Next one is clear process for compliance with ethical standards. It clearly explains the compliance of ethical standard to the engagement team. System of supervision and training. There should be a system of supervision and training for the personnel in the engagement team or who is going to perform the engagement. Okay. Methods for performance of review. It prescribes also methods for performance of review. The engagement is completed and the engagement quality control reviewer will be perform the review of audit or a engagement performed by the engagement team. Okay, proper documentation. There should be a brief objective about the objective of engagement to be explained to the engagement team and a clear process for compliance with ethical standards. Also, the system of supervision and training for the personnel in the firm or a engagement team. Okay, method for performance of review. Proper documentation of what should be done. Next one. In case of difficult matters, consultation should be obtained from the within or outside the firm. So consultation must take place in complex or contentious issue within the engagement, within the issues within an engagement. It involves discussion with appropriate professional level with individuals within or outside the firm who possess specialized expertise, helps to improve quality and application of professional judgment. Then, a discussion on the matter with appropriate professional level. Also, it helps the improve the quality application of professional judgment. It improves the quality also and also improve the professional judgment on the matter. Consultation procedure should ensure consultation with person having appropriate knowledge, seniority, or expertise. The proper documentation and implementation of conclusion should be made. Whenever the matter is considered as a complex matter, after resolving that matter, the documentation should be done by the engagement team. Okay, if the firm lacks appropriate internal resources or external resources, then with other firms or professional or a regulatory body, may external consultation must be used by the firm. In case of lack of appropriate internal resources, the firm can consult with external persons like other firms or professional or a regulatory body may be used. External confirmation may be used. All such consultation must be properly documented. Okay. Engagement quality control review. In case of after completion of engagement, the engagement quality control review will be done by the reviewer. Okay. The significant judgment made. The reviewer will evaluate the following. Significant judgment made should be reviewed by the engagement quality control reviewer before issue of the report. The extent of review depends on the engagement and the complexity of risk. The extent of review is depend on the complexity and the extent of review depend on the engagement complexity and risk. The EPCR does not reduce the engagement partner's responsibility. Okay. Review is the secondary process. The primary process of engagement is to perform the engagement by the engagement partner. Okay. EPCR does not reduce the engagement partner's responsibility. Mandatory for audit of listed entities. In case of engagement quality control review, it's mandatory for the listed company to perform to appoint EQCR engagement quality control reviewer, also to perform engagement quality control review of engagement. Okay. In case of audit, in case of audit of listed entities, it is mandatory. Okay. The audit of listed entities, the EQCR will evaluate the engagement team's evaluation of independent. It will evaluate the independence of the engagement team. Okay. So in case of listed entities, EQCR will evaluate whether the team is independent from the entity. Next one is significant risk identified. The significant risk identified by the engagement team and response to the risk identified. So risk of material misstatements identified by the engagement team and also what is the response the engagement team has to be evaluated by the EQCR. Next one is materiality and significant risk related to judgments. The ETCR will evaluate the materiality determined by the engagement team or engagement partner. Also, significant risk related to judgments made by the engagement team. Also, review of consultation on complex matter. Whether any consultation has been taken place during the engagement stage will be evaluated by the engagement team. If there is a difference of opinion, the resolution, what are the matters, differences resolved, how the matter is resolved to be evaluated. In case of significant and disposition of corrected or uncorrected misstatement, when there is a significant or disposition of corrected or uncorrected misstatement, the auditor shall re-evaluate the matter related to corrected and uncorrected misstatements. Matter to be communicated with management and local authority governance. When the engagement team has communicated some matters, significant matter, then matter to be evaluated by the engagement quality control reviewer. The review of working paper. The engagement quality control reviewer review the working paper in relation to significant judgment and conclusions. Appropriateness of report to be issued. He will evaluate appropriateness of report to be issued. Okay, whether the engagements are conducted as per the compliance with professional and legal regulatory standards. Also, he will evaluate appropriateness of report to be issued. What is our objective as per SQC1? We have compliance with professional and legal and regulatory standard, appropriateness of report to be issued. So, the ultimate objective of EQCR is to evaluate audit process. Also, audit process is conducted. Audit process or engagement process is conducted as per the legal and regulatory standard. Also, appropriateness of report to be issued by the engagement team or a firm. The meaning of engagement quality control reviewer. What do you mean by engagement quality control reviewer? Engagement quality control reviewer is a qualified person, internal or a external person who reviews the engagement quality. Who reviews the engagement quality is known as engagement quality control reviewer. Okay, the reviewer must remain objective and not participate in engagement discussion. Okay, in case of EQCR will not involved in the engagement activities. That is, if the audit team or a review team is performing the engagement, then the EQCR should not involve in the work performed by the audit team. Okay, if there is a significant consultation with the reviewer, the firm should ensure the reviewer objectivity, maybe appointing another individual if necessary, in case the engagement quality control reviewer as involved in the significant consultation with the engagement team or a audit team, then the firm should replace the EPCR with another individual. So the firm's policy should allow the for replacing the EPCR if objectivity is compromised. The objectivity should not be compromised by the engagement quality control reviewer in case of review of work performed by the engagement team. When there is a difference of opinion, when there is a difficult consultation, the consultation will be done by the engagement partner with the experts. In case of there is a difference of opinion, when there is a difference of opinion between EQCR and engagement partner, the difference of opinion between the engagement team members, the reviewer, the engagement partner should and the engagement partner should be resolved before issue of report. Only after resolving the difference of opinion, after that only the firm should issue the audit report. Audit report is issued only after resolving the difference of opinion between EPCR and engagement partner. In case of recommendation of a reviewer are not accepted, in case of reviewer's recommendation is not accepted by the engagement partner and the matter is not resolved to the reviewer's satisfaction, the matter shall be resolved by the following procedures by the firm, consulting with other firm or a professional body or other professionals. Okay, in case of difference of opinion, it shall be consulted with other external experts or professionals and a professional body. Next one is engagement documentation. We have completed engagement performance. In that engagement performance, consistency of quality is to be maintained and also consultation in case of difficult matter. Also, we have discussed engagement quality control review. Also, the consideration should be taken by the evaluation should be done by the EQCR in case of listed entities. Also, the meaning of EQCR, the difference of opinion. In case of difference of opinion, the audit report should be issued after resolving the matter. Next one is in case of not accepted by the engagement partner. The reviewer recommendation is not accepted by the engagement partner, then it has to consult with the external experts like professionals or a other audit firm. So next one is engagement documentation. In engagement performance, we perform the engagement. The last stage is documentation. The documentation stage, assembly. The assembly of working papers. The final engagement file should be assembled within 60 days from the date of auditor's report for audit engagement. For other engagement, file should be completed within the time limit appropriate to the engagement. Okay, in case of audit engagement, it should be 60 days. In case of other engagements, it is on a timely basis. Okay, if multiple reports are issued for the same subject matter, example group consolidation or a statutory report, each is treated as a separate engagement for assembly of file. In case of multiple assignment, so each engagement is considered as a separate engagement, and the assembly of file should be as per the engagement. Safety and accessibility. Policy should ensure confidentiality, safe custody, integrity, and accessibility and the retrievability of engagement documentation. So the safety of the document should be ensured by the firm, and policies and procedures should be established for confidentiality, safe custody, integrity, accessibility, retrievability of engagement documentation. Quality control review documentation must confirm that the required procedures were followed. Review was completed before the report is issued. Reviewer found no or unresolved concerns about judgment and conclusion. Quality control review document must confirm that before documenting, the required procedures were followed. Also, the review was completed before the issue of report. Also, there is no unresolved matter about judgment and conclusion. Only when the after completion of the following, the documentation should be done. Next one is retention. Next one is retention. The document should be retained for a period long enough to allow the evaluation of the firm's quality control system. In case of audit engagement, the retention period is at least 7 years from the auditor's report date. In our group auditor's report date, if later, longer retention may be required if law or regulation. If such longer retention should be required by law or regulation, it should be kept for longer period. In case of ownership, unless otherwise specified by law or regulation, the engagement documentation is the firm's property. The documents are property of the auditor. Auditor means the auditor firm or individual firm or a partnership firm or LLP. The portion or extract may be shared with the client if it does not compromise the work validity or auditor's independence. It can be the firm's files can be working papers or documents or a portion of document can be kept in the client's place also. Next one is monitoring. The firm should ensure policies and procedures relating to system of quality control are relevant, adequate, operating effectively, complied within practice. Such policies and procedures should include ongoing consideration, also evaluation of the firm's system of quality control, including periodic inspection of a selection of completed engagement. Okay, the firm should monitor the policies and procedures established. Okay, the quality control of the engagement must be monitored and taking into account the following factor. The following factors should be considered for engagement quality control. Deciding whether quality control system of the firm has been appropriately designed and effectively implemented. Okay, while monitoring, the firm should establish policies and procedures for maintaining quality and quality control in the firm. So the quality control system is designed and also implemented effectively. The quality control should be designed also implemented effectively. Examination whether new developments in professional standard and legal and regulatory requirements have been reflected in firm's quality control policies. Okay, examining the new developments. In case of any, if there is any new developments, the in the professional standards, so the firm should adopt the new principle, legal and regulatory standard, professional standard. Also, there is a update in the standards. Then the quality control in the firm should be updated as per the updated standards. Conducting monitoring, conducting the monitoring by entrusting responsibility of the monitoring process to the partner or other person with sufficient and appropriate experience and authority in the firm. So, the monitoring of activities to be done by the partner or a other person with a sufficient and appropriate experience and authority. The person performing the monitoring of activities should have a appropriate knowledge, also experience and authority. Okay, dealing with complaints and allegations against the firm or any of its employees regarding non-compliance with professional standard or appropriate regulatory requirement by the person within or outside the firm. The firm should have a proper complaints and allegation resolution team. Okay, the firm should have a policies and procedure for dealing with complaints and allegations raised against the firm or work performed by the partner. So there should be a policy and procedure for dealing with complaints and allegations on work performed or the firm's quality control system. So taking appropriate remedial action against personnel who did not conform to quality control policies. Okay, remedial action against the personnel who did not conform the quality control policies. So appropriate remedial action also taken based on the monitoring of activities. The qualified person will monitor the activities, and also if any person is not following the quality control or policies and procedures of the firm, then remedial action should be taken. Action Taking action when deficiencies are found in design or operation of the firm's quality, the control policies and the procedures, or non-compliance with the system of quality control is identified. In case any deficiencies found in the quality control or a system of quality control, when there is a non-compliance with the system of quality control, the action to be taken by the appropriate person. There should be a policies and procedure for monitoring of system of quality control in the audit firm. So we have completed SQC 1.